Welcome to Riverbend Talent on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Another Riverbend Talent on the Big Z on a Thursday night. Sea Shanty Sing-Along already underway down at Morrison's Irish Pub. Open mic later tonight at Raging Cajun and Alton. Cross the line at Past 80's tonight. With Alto Spirits Music in the Park, we'll have the Scott Air Force Band, Shades of Blue, starting at 7 o'clock in Bethalto. Matt Tall underway up at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville. Trilogy doing the Grafton Music in the Park at 7 tonight. Instant replay underway at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. Eric Lysott starts at 7 o'clock down at Deutz Village Inn in Pontoon Beach. Rewind underway at Acoustics in the Park, Veterans Park, Pontoon Beach. Scott Marlin starts at 7 at Pavia's Place in Granite City. Frankie and the House Shakers underway at Patrick's in Granite City. The Fry Project underway up at Prairie Inn in Dorsey. And every week, Experience Live Music Row underway down in Belleville. And for all those wondering if Pigpen was fired,
He is back.
I
was, but I just snuck back in. See, you can't keep me down, man.
Well, I didn't try to keep anything down. There's people writing letters and all kinds of stuff. Like, where'd Pigpen go? Oh my God!
I don't
this
believe a
show
word.
was terrible without that guy on here. He's like Pigpen
no way
Radio.
Pigpen fans can read or write.
That explains the picket line out front.
Oh man, I've been gone for 3 weeks. My wife had a slew of tickets, all to the factory, way over in Chesterfield or whatever the heck it is. But yeah, Thursday night, I said, you got to stop by in Thursday night shows. But, you know, who doesn't want to go see live music? I mean, isn't that what we're all about here? Seeing live music? Well, I know we're promoting live music.
I don't know.
That's a heck of a Thursday night you just read off.
That's Billy Hurst.
Die?
You weren't here to talk to him.
I missed Billy.
And you know what?
I missed Jim Manley.
The time before that, you missed Billy Hurst too. So he's really concerned. Remember during the thing that shut down everything, and we had to do it over the
Syphilis?
thing. And,
Oh, yeah.
You weren't there for that either.
No,
You were
yeah,
definitely there for syphilis, so I'm sure.
You know what? I will go make it up to Billy.
Okay, you better.
I will.
You better go buy some records.
You know what? I bought some records the day that I asked him to be on the show.
That's why
I was there buying records. So yeah, and I miss Jim Manley.
You did.
He was a first timer.
Man, that was a good time.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about trumpet.
Dad, did he have any trumpets to donate to the cause of 1,000 trumpets?
No, but he's totally interested.
All right.
Yeah,
Maybe he knows some other folks.
maybe.
Maybe
He knows like
but
every.
we need 1,000 trumpets. So anybody who's got a trumpet out there, you don't want, you know.
He knows like the entire history of the trumpet in our area, which he went over. It was pretty wild. I had no idea there was all these trumpet players from around here.
Yeah, Miles Davis. That's
Well,
the
everyone
one.
knows that
Yeah,
one.
that's the one that everybody thinks about.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's more. Maynard Ferguson. You ever hear of him?
No, is he from Ferguson?
See? How about you guys? You guys heard of Maynard Ferguson?
Yes.
I knew Steinwood. That's a legend. For real. He's from Canada. He spent a lot of time in St. Louis.
Oh, don't call me buddy pal. All right, so you're speaking to Steinbrook.
Right.
So to everybody out in Radio Land, our guest tonight is not just Mr. Paul Steinbrook, but the Undecided. And man, what year? Don Sandage.
Yes.
We're going to start with you because we're going to go through and talk to everybody here. Let's start with Mr. Don Sandage. A quick question: What year did the Undecided start? And I'm talking like
Pre the Undecided.
well, like you and Scott and Matt. Like I remember the first gig where you came up with the name was at the E-Band.
Yeah. Before that, we had Tim in the band for a while.
Tim.
Bring that mic over to you, Don.
Yeah.
In case you never used one.
Yeah, Tim Brooks. Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
you weren't called the Undecided until the
No,
gig.
we can't talk about that. We've covered that in the past.
Yeah,
so
until that gig. So what year was that gig?
that was 1985.
85.
So we're
there
coming
you
up
go.
on 40 years here in a bit.
Man, one more. So there you go. 40 years ago, 39 years ago, the Undecided played its first gig, and so now
You were there with us.
I was there at Evan.
You were helping lug gear, and you were like our best friend.
Play Homicide again, man.
Oh Lord, play SD.
Oh man. I can do the whole solo to Sedated.
Yeah.
It's just the one note. It's pretty easy. No.
Yeah, but yeah, that was 1985.
Those were good times,
when we got together, started playing, and then everybody else just joined right there after, like Paul and Mike.
Steinbrook came in, and I don't remember if it was Hands Across America was the first gig.
No, the first one was the air guitar dance.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
I do.
The lip sync and air guitar.
Yeah, the lip sync, and they had an air guitar, lip sync and air guitar.
April '86.
Was that in the auditorium?
It was in the girls' gym.
Girls'
In the
gym.
girls' gym.
Yes.
I knew it wasn't in the cafeteria like they did a lot of them back then. A lot of the dances went on in the cafeteria at that time. But I remember it being a different venue.
It was in the girls' gym.
It
was at the annex
They retracted
building.
all the bleachers, and it had that little. Remember, it had the little stage.
Oh yeah,
It was up there.
So speaking of gyms, here's a memory that I may have.
Oh
brought this
Lord,
up
I know what you're
before
gonna
or not.
say.
It's Jerseyville.
Just when you got electrocuted. Trying to tap into the main power source, and Scrappy had smoke coming out of his ears, and
welded the
hair
pliers
standing straight up
together
in
that
the
were in
air.
my hands. Scott Robertson said I looked like a cartoon character. I came shooting out of the closet.
Yeah, it was definitely cartoonish. And we were lucky you
I
didn't.
am a cartoon character, so
That explains today.
There-
What happened since then.
everything since then.
All roads lead back to that one experience.
You wouldn't do for your trade.
So
same
that is now we've talked to Don Sanders, we talked to Paul Steinberg. Now we're bringing in Mr. Tom Pullen, which he joined the band. What year did you join the band, Tom?
87.
87
maybe.
Made that so that was the era of the big PA, the U-Haul. Stinky hotel rooms. the U-Haul that would not go over 55 miles an hour. And, so a lot of good times. So
You were there once again.
Memories. Give me a memory from that era.
There aren't many.
There aren't many. Oh, come on, man. Mattress races.
I
in the
remember joining.
hotels.
I knew that was coming.
I remember joining the band for like a gig, and then like 3 years later, I got around to quitting.
Right. It's like a blink of an eye.
Right.
It just
It's
suddenly
what happens when you join the Undecided.
Yeah.
Is at some point, it's just what you do.
Yeah.
You don't really ever leave.
It sort of just becomes life because 3 to 4 or 5 days a week, whatever. This is what we're doing, and the other days we're just sleeping, trying to catch up to do it again next
Here's
week.
the thing: the Undecided is truly legendary. It's the only band that is polling in the presidential race. I mean, Undecided. We've got like
We're
7 or 8%
polls right now.
We're leading the polls. I mean, come on. Name another band that did that.
I can't name another
Exactly.
one. So there you go. That and Tom Pullen, currently owner of Mojo Music.
Yes.
Up in Edwardsville.
Oh crap! I got to get back.
Yeah,
get
nobody's
discount on
watching the
strings.
store. So anybody, in addition to selling music, I'm sure you set up guitars, things like that.
We do setups. We do repairs. We do sales, service, lessons, everything you possibly need.
It's an all service, a full service.
Most
we call it.
service.
Full service.
Yeah.
There you go. I love a full service and a full release. You guys
Hey.
put out a full release? You didn't do it just EPs, right? You did put out a full release at one point.
Several.
Several. As many as I could, man.
Yeah, we put out a few albums. Had some good success with the album.
So after Tom Pullen, Mr. Mike Lombardi. It would be the next one to join into this circus. You remember what year you came into this whole?
I was trying to remember. Maybe 85, 86, something like that.
Yeah, it was summer of '86.
I was thinking it was after.
No.
Well, it was the second time.
The second time.
There you go. The second time around. Yeah. All I know is you guys had an apartment behind the mall, and I watched Spinal Tap in that apartment at least 100 times.
So the fact that there is a second time proves that you can never get out of the Undecided.
It's Hotel California.
It is.
Yeah.
You can check in. You can never check out.
Did you just see our text I got today?
So yeah, right. Tom has no memories. All he remembers is joining the band, paying for a PA, and quitting.
That's pretty much
Oh, I
it.
have all sorts of
I
memories.
think we were all drunk the whole time.
Well, yeah. You got to lean in there. We're all sharing.
I think, but we were all drunk the whole time. That's why nobody remembers anything.
Well, so that was the thing. Is free drinks are part of the gig.
Yeah.
And
that's all they paid us.
You know, not if you work the angles properly, because I like as
you got to carry our stuff to get paid.
Well, I was going to say that not only could you get the free drinks, you could get free food out of the bartenders. It was just you had to give them the old sob story, you know.
We'd get a frozen pizza every
Sure, man. You know.
Well, it took 6 hours to lug the gear in and set it out, and like 10 people, and we were starving.
My whole thing was as soon as you'd walk in a place that was new, you know, you'd size up who the owner or manager is and let them see it like sweat.
Yeah.
And then go up and ask them for a glass of water and give them the sob story about it. You're still in high school and can barely eat. And pretty soon you're like, hey, how much for a pizza?
Yeah,
I'll give you one for free. Like, oh, thank you.
Pull the Blues Brothers move and get that first beer for free. You think they're all free, and in the night they're keeping your pay. You're like, what the heck?
You boys sure did drink a lot of beer tonight.
That's where my first million went.
Right. I like to write the check on the dash for the car running. So 1985, you come into the band. Oh, yeah, man.
I came in hot.
You came in hot, and
He's still hot.
And
he's still hot, yeah.
With sound effects.
So
they were excited. I had wind sounds. They're like, wind sounds, man. That just opens a whole nother group of songs we can sing. We could do Wanted Dead or Alive now. Woo! We were off and rolling.
You had the guitar. You had the guitar.
Well, I like to move around.
Right. And like the rest of them, a cucumber in the spandex.
Oh my God.
No cucumber.
There was no cucumber in my
You
spandex.
should know you were in the dressing room with us, so
Well, at least not in the front.
No, here's what we did in dressing rooms.
Yeah.
Spit loogies on the ceiling and spray them with hairspray to make them sort of solidify like a...
It was our internal design, man.
Oh, man.
But then we come back 8 months later and it's still hanging.
What's wrong with you boys?
Those dressing rooms are all disgusting.
Yeah, never sit on the leather couch in the back room of Granny's rocker because you could be stuck.
Touch too much.
There you go. And now this voice coming in is David Whitman. Not with Leadfoot this time. Not with a Boston tribute. Not with a. I don't even know all the bands you've been.
Tribute.
Yeah, I don't even know.
All, man.
I'm just slipping in this year,
He's
2024.
If we could turn back time. Anyway, so you were filling in on the percussion.
Yes.
For the Undecided. Now this seat has been filled in by some big people. So
I'm honored. I appreciate it. I definitely enjoy it.
I'm just messing with you, man. This is something that I'm surprised hasn't happened sooner. In all honesty,
It's really good.
because
Yep.
you've been drumming as long as they've been.
Yes, sometimes it's been kind of a, it's never a competition, but it kind of is, but back in the day, there's been times that I'm playing, they're playing, we've all done it. Yeah. But I have always respected these guys. They're killer musicians.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry to hear that.
And you bring up back in those
We got to
days.
raise your expectations, dude.
Yeah.
The bar
I've been
is
playing
so
a
loud.
long time, too. I just slipped into this year, and I enjoy it. I appreciate it.
You bring up sort of the competition thing, and in all honesty, like late 80s, early 90s, that was the whole battle of the band.
Yes,
Everything was a battle of the band.
Yes.
And I'm kind of glad to see we don't have a whole lot of those.
Year.
Yeah, and to me, I really like sort of the festival mentality.
Now-
Let's just throw a party together.
Now
Nobody's
every
gotta
band
win.
gets a trophy. It's not cool anymore.
Right. As long as it's a smokable trophy. No,
Yeah.
that's
I
not.
said there's not enough people still left doing it to where you could have a competition like that amongst groups.
I agree.
There are.
What sense is there in it anyway?
I was gonna say there are a handful that still happen. What are they? The Battle of Bush.
Yes.
And all of them. There are 2 or 3 of them that we still have people come through, but I can't remember what they are.
Look at your paper there, Dennis. It's got to have something on there.
Right.
That was a big thing in the 90s.
Pops.
Battle of the bands.
And if you can still do it at all, you're a winner already. So.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of lights, lots of PA back in the day.
Yeah, a lot of heat, a lot of heated lights.
Look,
Park hands.
pretend like you're in a stag flick. Really lean into that thing.
Get in there, man.
Whatever you got to do, man.
We might have to get some condenser mics in here, like some big ones.
Right?
No, but I tell you what, I'm having a really good time. Everybody is. We've been rehearsing a lot for about 6 months. We've been doing this with Damon on drums, and everything just sounds great. Everybody's just having a ball. This is the most fun that I've had doing music in a long time.
Now here it is though. Back in the day, well, a lot of us could barely afford an amp. You had a guitar on credit if you were lucky. Not everybody. I might be speaking for myself. Yeah, Jody Hopper kept me. The Jody Hopper and a few other people that lived in shacks I had credit with in my life, and that was it. But now we're kind of to the point where we have the equipment to make everything sound pretty much the way you want it to sound. You can afford a space big enough, and you have the time. And most of us at this age have also, if there was that, hey, we should try to play out every weekend, or we need some manager or any of that. So not that all of that's gone, but if you're writing music, you just want to write music. Any pandering that might have been there sort of fades as you get old and don't give a crap.
Yeah, that's where we're at now. And
it takes you back.
This is more all about the fun now. You know what? It's kind of like it was at the very, very beginning.
Big I was going to say, you come full circle to those punk rock days when it was all about not caring.
Just
the whole point is we don't care.
We just get in the garage and make noise like when we were kids, and just, had dreams of maybe one day we'll be rock stars,
But usually the big agenda now is to enjoy the time, decorating time, because that's all we're doing is trying to make time a little more pretty than if we weren't doing this thing together.
And then we're doing this really big show coming up that we need to discuss.
Yeah.
And this is going to be...
When's that?
This is coming up.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you guys have got a show coming up.
Huh? Oh,
you better get with the program.
So what's tell us about the show.
Tommy, tell us about the show.
Right on. So about 8 months or so ago, I thought, you know what, we need to get everybody from the Alton high school era 80s back together for a party.
Nice.
And it didn't matter if you go to Marquette, you went to Beltline Christian, wherever, Alton High. If you were in high school in the 80s in Alton, we got the party for you. And okay, we're not checking IDs and we're not checking tattlers. So if you weren't, but you still like the 80s era, this party is also for you. So September 7th, starting at 4 o'clock, we're going until we shut her down. And we have 5 bands, 3 DJs. The Epic Experience down at Max. We're blocking off Bell Street, and we're going to have an 80s extravaganza.
Nice. And blocking off the street, setting up a big stage, I guess. Doing like the old block parties.
It's going to be a block party.
Yeah.
It's a mixer. It's a big mixer party.
Nice.
And, man, it's going to be fun.
Man, in the 80s, it's like...
We're going way back in the early MTV days. We're playing some really cool 80s stuff.
Great.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, and that, even though it like the 90s was a big time for the Undecided, that was a huge time. It still always takes me back to high school and that 80s, drive around in Scott's little brown Chevette,
or Paul's yellow one, or the old Buick station wagon.
Oh my God, the old wagon, Miss Farmer. Yeah.
Oh Lord. We might go to hell for that one.
Well, you know what? You got to go for some reason. I'm sure when I get to the pearly gates, they're gonna. Even if I get a technicality, they're gonna be like, "Okay, we're gonna let you in, but what's your username and ID?"
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm gonna be like, "Dude, I just don't know."
It's funny being here with Scrap since he knows so much about about our history over the last 40 years because he was part of the band, ran our lights. He was always there helping out year after year, decade, just part of the band. He was one of the Undecided members, let's put it that
I
way.
thought we made him sign an NDA.
We did.
Yeah. Technically, he's still under he's still under
contract.
He's still under contract.
All right.
So,
Wait, man.
we need another light guy scrap.
Wait, I don't remember signing nothing, dude. I mean,
Exactly. That's why I remember the 80s too.
I remember you used to open for him all the time, so I remember that. What
that-
band was that you was in? You was singing, and
what
was that?
There are certain times of our life that we choose to erase now.
You'd do some Pantera, and you'd do a bunch of heavy stuff, and we'd hear you guys do that.
Mazo Christ.
Is that it? Was
so-
that the name of it?
So
Well, they didn't know how to read.
I think
That's what's actually going on with that name.
I remember that. I
is
mean, quite a
exactly
few
what
times out of
happened.
Granny's. And
No, our drummer come up with the name, and we had that
what was
name.
his name?
Pablo.
Oh, Pablo,
And we,
that's right.
we had that name for a good year before one day somebody asked what it meant. I thought he just, made up something because that's what you do, right? I mean, and he says the meaning, and I stopped and went, dude, that's masochist. And you said it like 2 words. And if you put them together, that is masochist, but you always had it like 2 words. And that was how that name came about. And I don't really like pain, I'll be honest with you. So it really, once that happened, I'm like, this doesn't really fit me because I try to avoid pain, right? But no, that actually, the very first time I remember you guys going, hey, you want to get up and play? Was ironically
weren't they all like our road crew?
I was gonna say,
the whole band.
After years, once it rolled into the 90s.
It's before that.
It might have been late.
It was a
80s.
night up at Big Al's.
Yes.
And you got up and you sang, you got another thing coming with us.
Yeah.
That's one of the few things I remember from.
The first time I remember you letting us get up as a band and do it was the Creekmore days when Mike Creekmore was playing with us, and Bruno wasn't helping out yet. So I ended up we played Twist a Cane, and I played bass and sang, and it was out at the VFW in Bethalto, like 100 years ago. Man, Mike Creekmore, that was the early the first incarnation of that band, which he's passed and gone now. So that was it made it fun though. I mean those were all good times. And then Big Al's was
that.
like my home away from home.
And Granny's.
Oh, Granny's rocker.
Yeah.
What a good time. That
Granny's
was
in Edwardsville was fabulous.
Oh yeah, man.
That was a good one.
That was the era of the big club.
Yeah,
where
stages,
you
all
would
them,
You guys remember a place in Bonne Terre, Missouri? And we went down there.
Party Town, USA.
And I remember if I remember right, the manager's name was Corky, and he wore like a satin jacket from the 70s still. It was real cool. But oddly enough, the hotel was like right next door to it.
Oh Lord.
And
that was when we duct taped the shoe to the guy's face.
dude, so we I had forgotten all about that whole trip because time goes on, and in 2006 me and my wife
They were bad.
in 2006 me and my wife bought a little patch of land on a lake down there called Cedar Lake, and every weekend we would drive past that, and I would think about that stinky motel and that cheesy manager with a satin jacket that thought he was so cool and wouldn't give me a free burrito. That bastard.
That place, we walked in there. First thing, the doors open up. We start carrying gear in, and that manager goes, "Yeah, avoid the left side of the room there. Somebody threw up. We haven't cleaned it up yet."
That was a big puddle of vomit.
Oh, dude.
And things went downhill from there.
And that is the definition of a dive bar right there, Oh my gosh. But again, a U-Haul full of gear, a bunch of kids drinking and smoking and having a good time. So
We had a really good time. We did.
Yeah,
Maybe too good of a time.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, here's and this, I don't mean to just turn this into like a trip down memory lane.
No, why not? It's fun.
As I sit here and look at all you guys, I can't help it. Each time I look at you, I have a memory.
We have flashbacks.
And right, just looking at you just now, I thought about remember the Speakeasy
Yes.
Not Breeze, and then Germantown was the town next door that had the hotel that we stayed in.
Yes.
And they had like the outdoor, the big drive-in theater that you could like watch movies on break but not hear them. But
we did some big concerts down there with a lot of
Foghat and Head East.
Yeah, way back in the glory days.
But I remember there was like this little country road that would take you from the Speakeasy over to Germantown to that hotel, and like the Ski Soda factory was right next to it. But I had a pickup truck, a little Toyota 1970 Toyota pickup truck, and I carried all the lights there or whatever. And I remember that. And then we were going to the hotel, but your dad got really drunk, and he asked me for a ride, but he decided to lay in the back of my pickup truck to go back to the hotel, and there were some railroad tracks, and I hit him just a little hard, and your poor dad came up off the ground and landed. And dude, I felt so bad because I wasn't trying to do that to him by any means, but I heard him go, woo! As we went over.
He was always there for us, man. Wasn't he?
Dude,
he was always.
Yeah.
He loved to go to the shows. He loved to run the lights too, and help roadie and drive the big truck and drink beer with us.
He had his own.
Was cool.
He had his own car there, but he decided he didn't want to drive to the hotel, and he didn't want to get in the U. I guess I don't know if the U-Haul stayed or what what it was, but. Yeah, oh man, I remember
he wanted to still get there while it was nighttime. That's why he didn't take the U-Haul.
Didn't we stay somewhere else on the night of the big Foghat concert? And we got kicked out of the hotel by Foghat or something. Remember they bought every room in the hotel? Then we had to go take cold showers back at the club.
I do remember
that.
And those guys, yeah. And I also remember Head East. Me and Scotty tried to take a bottle of Jack Daniels out of there. There was the double backstage.
Yeah.
And we tried to take a bottle. They had like a whole box of bottles of whiskey, and we grabbed one. We thought they wouldn't. Out of 20, we didn't think they'd miss it, but they did. And I was at the bar, and if you remember, the owner of the Speakeasy had like his dress blues, his Marine blues hanging up, and like his M16 or whatever, in the back room. And I was standing there, and Pumper had the old headsets we'd use.
Yeah.
And I had it on, and Scott had the other one. We were just playing around before this show, and I hear the guy from 80's comes up. He goes, "We're missing Jack Daniels." and I was like, "Scott, abort. Take it back now, man. They are not happy."
And Scrap was like, "I didn't even know he was playing tonight."
Oh my gosh, dude! Yeah, we were always trying to get away with. What can we get away with tonight?
That Head East show. I remember after the show, I was sitting on the bar with the bass player of Head East. And he's like, "Man," he goes, "you guys are awesome." He goes, we're playing tomorrow night. Will you open for us?"
Right.
And I'm like,
Florida.
"I'd love to." No, it was New Orleans.
Right.
And I'm like, "Dude, our truck maxes out at 50 miles an hour. There is no way to get to New Orleans by tomorrow. I appreciate the offer, but thanks."
It's gonna take us all night to get to 55.
Right.
Oh man.
Luckily, it was downhill all the way to Louisiana.
Yeah. Oh man, that good times.
It wasn't.
We haven't heard a whole lot from our other
Jersey.
host over here. He's been awful quiet.
I've been covering for him for 3 weeks, so. But I will tell you this: September 7th, the All Mixers 80 party down at Max Timeout. We got Climate kicking it off at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
We got DJ Sarah Lowe until Porch Cafe sets up at 5:15. Hopefully everything's running right by then. And then we got DJ Brian Belchik, right? And then Rock Bottom at 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got DJ Brian Belchik again until Undecided at 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Destroy the Future at 10:15.
Yes, we're going to close it out. We're too old to play late, so we said, our people are going to want to go home and go to bed before 11, so let's play from about 8:30, 8:15 to about 10:30. About the time everybody normally goes to bed, because we're old now.
Who is Destroy the Future?
Jay Davison.
Okay. For some reason, I was expecting Planet Death.
No, those guys throw down too. So it will reward the folks who stick around to party, because those guys are awesome.
Nice.
And so it's going to be, I mean, every one of the bands,
They're great.
it has an Alton grad in it. So that was the thing. It's like, if you DJ or you're in a band, you have to have at least one member who was part of the reason we're having the party.
Yeah. Part of the graduating class 1980 to 89.
I mean, the Palins are climate, and they are.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, and so
Tim Palin was
part of the Undecided.
Absolutely, man. He was the middle between Matt and Tom.
Yes. He played bass for a while with us, so it'd be nice seeing him again too. And then we got another past member in another
Porch Cafe, second band, is Brent McCarty. He was part of the Undecided, played keyboards and guitar for us.
Brent.
Yes, he did.
What about what about the not Taskmaster Poor? What about Voorhis? You guys ever heard of that?
Yeah, we
dude
talked
from
to
that
him.
dude
Yeah, we
anymore?
talked to him online a lot.
Really, that whenever you brought up Brent, I suddenly pictured Boris for the first time in 100 years.
And then we got Rock Bottoms playing. That's a
Derek
band
Howard.
that I started back in 2002, and Derek Howard also.
Yeah.
He's been the
He's
guitar
it,
player.
yeah.
Them guys.
Right.
But so it's a lot of connections with the Undecided and all these bands. It's crazy.
When Derek and Paul and I were in a band together years ago, played Evan.
Yes.
Outside.
Really? What was the name of that band?
What was that game, man?
I don't remember.
Actually, you did. The Conditioners.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, but Derek was not in that group. He hung around when we practiced. He was Greg's little brother.
Yeah, but he played at.
Did he play with us?
He played with us outside at Even on the field.
I remember that outside.
Yeah,
on the
really?
field of the
Chris
band.
Clope and Tony Lohagen. And
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't remember. I'd forgotten all about that.
Yeah. What year was that? 86, 88?
Oh no, this was 83,
No,
84,
I was going to say that was
84.
going back early. Yeah,
I think it was 83 because I don't think I was driving yet.
Evan only did that for.
Before the pizza delivery days.
Yeah.
And who did we play the 1985 aftergrad with? Who was all that? That was Andy Hendrick and
Jeff Bensman.
Jeff Bensman. That's right.
Dave Thompson.
Dave Thompson.
Yeah.
And Brent McCarty, when you ended up with the Creepin' Crud, you had a mono or something, and Brent filled in for a gig in front of that, and then you played the aftergrad thing.
I don't remember.
Me not saying it didn't happen. Me just saying me not remember.
I don't know what all you guys all did.
Yeah.
I was lucky to go to the refrigerator and make a sandwich.
Oh, yeah, whatever. You could make a sandwich and then sit down and play Eruption on the keyboard.
Yeah.
I mean, dude. I have a lot of great memories of you guys, especially like when you first joined the band. It was one of those like I had heard of who you was, but I didn't know who you was when you joined the band, and I had never seen you play guitar, and it was one of those like I'll never be.
Oh,
that
it's
good.
getting serious now.
It's a whole nother level.
He's only 16, and I already know I'll never be as good as he is right now.
Man, I won't ever be that good again either.
No, we were all better when we were 16.
Like I said, that was some good times though, man.
Yeah.
It just like I say, looking at you guys, I'm sitting here going Coliseum Ballroom. I mean, just all these, all the crazy.
Man, you remember we played everywhere. It's hard to remember.
I think the mattress
All
races were in Mount Vernon.
Yeah, it was my
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
playing all over the state and then all over Missouri, all over the Midwest, and it was a big place.
times.
We were there.
Times and so
The Coliseum gig was our trip through the cornfield in my GTI.
So the one I remember in your GTI was actually a Litchfield gig.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about that one.
Me and you went to an after party.
Ixnay on the.
All I remember is I woke up in your GTI and I was like, it was the middle of nowhere, and I said, "Where are we?" And you said, "I don't know, but we're making great time." And we're doing like 80 miles an hour in the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden, there was the Coliseum, and you pulled over and you called Chief Don Sandage Sr. on a payphone. In the it was pre-cell phone era.
What's a payphone, Uncle Scrappy?
Well, in a long, long ago, No, but because we couldn't even, like, it was. There weren't a lot of roads back then.
No, there weren't.
How old we are?
Definitely not very many were paved back then.
I remember
horse-drawn wagons to get the gear to the show.
And we liked it.
Right, I remember
we had candle-powered PA systems.
I remember the chief said, "Turn around, take Route 4 back to the Katy Trail." And no, I don't know that.
We rolled in town just as the sun went up, and I met my dad at the donut shop for breakfast. He was going to work, and I was going home.
Right. That is a typical story right there. My nights keep turning into your mornings, man.
I don't know how you guys remember all this stuff, man. I forgot half of it. But I know we used to play like 5 nights a week, so it's easy to forget when you're rolling like that.
Well, when I see you, looking at you guys is bringing back a lot of stuff I hadn't thought about, Cause,
Sorry about that.
Well, now Mike Lombardi speaking up here and looking at you, I remember the great clap scare of '89.
Yeah, when it was programmed on his keyboard, and it just kept
right.
The clap scare, right?
right.
You couldn't shut it off.
So I brought up the apartment down there that the two of you lived in.
Mm-hmm.
It was behind.
That was
him and Brent.
Yeah, that was me and
Was that you and Brent?
McCarty, yeah.
Man, for some reason I was thinking that was your apartment. You just were hanging out there all the time, I guess.
Yeah, that was the Undecided. I don't think we had no water. We had no electricity.
This is where that memory lies.
Is that why it was always that dark in there?
Yes,
I thought you guys were just way cool.
We actually had to use the mayor's campaign candles for our light. Remember, I had cases of Mayor Sandwich's candles that I kind of borrowed out of Dad's garage, and then we had a kerosene heater that we used for heat and warm up the ramen noodles on top of the kerosene heater.
You'd have to walk.
We were pretty primitive.
Have to walk to the mall for a flushing toilet.
Yes, you had to walk to the mall or Zantigos to go to the bathroom.
Zantigos. Oh my gosh! Remember,
Zantigos, kids, is the precursor to Taco Bell.
Right.
And if you understand what the Taco Bell bathroom's like, you know what a Zantigo bathroom was like.
Okay. Since this is an 80's mixer, let's do another 80's memory. If you went, you're in the parking lot of Zantigos and you go over the hill, it goes down under the viaduct there. That is now it's a highway, it's a road, but it used to just be a field, and that was where people would go.
Brickyard is what it was.
That's where all the fights would have. There would be lots of rumbles down there. Oh yeah, well there would be parties, but they would always turn into all out rumbles.
People got drunk.
Well, you're drunk and you're hungry because you haven't gone to Zantigos yet, so now you're getting angry.
Okay, but I want to interview you for a second.
All right.
On the river road, down the river road, between right when you turn, if you're coming back towards Alton from Clifton Terrace,
yeah,
you know that little pull off area that's down there.
Oh yeah.
What was that called?
What the hell was that called, man?
I was telling my wife about it the other day, and I couldn't think of what the name of it was.
Because that was this.
It did.
Yeah, because we would. Yeah, that was the spot that you'd meet people at.
Everybody looked stunned. What about you, Bash?
There was big bastards.
Do you remember a name?
No, there was
it was
wasn't King's Chair because we partied up. That was up the hill.
It was right. If you come down Clifton Terrace Hill and you make a left. It's where the barges that unload the barge workers from right there. They call it something
right there.
It's something landing.
It's I was going to say it's Norman's. It's Norman's Landing.
Norman's Landing.
Norman's Landing is the name of it. There was a name of that.
That's not what the name of it was.
There was a name of that little pull off that's sort of between Captain's Chair and Blue Pool.
Yeah, then there was the little one, was the little wall down there, but that was further down, closer to Alton. This was down, all the way down there. It was big enough to put 25, 30 cars.
Yeah, we all went to party too.
Is this the senile portion of the interview?
So is that? Are you talking about if you're heading out of Alton on the right hand side, on the bluff side?
No, it's on the riverside.
It's on the riverside. That's what I'm saying. So that's the pull off where all those cars could pull off.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I can't think of what we used to. That was a meeting place where you'd be like, "Hey, meet me at." But it wasn't Norman's Landing. It was. I don't know. Let's talk about something else.
by
When we
the
come
river.
to
Had a name.
Yeah.
I don't get out much anymore. I've forgotten all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm having lots of good memories looking at you guys. Some real good ones.
We're all a lot older and a lot grayer. I'm looking around the room.
Oh man, so yeah, it'll come to
hard
me.
on the
It'll come
80s
to me.
list.
Man,
The list is great, man. I mean, everybody's gonna love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
dude,
been working on it. I mean, it's pretty much every Wednesday we put time into this new list for this show.
Yeah.
So I really think everybody's gonna dig it. I mean, it's a lot of pure 80s music.
Right.
You like the 80s music, I think we're putting it together pretty cool.
So how much of it is coming straight out of the Big Al's era?
not much.
We're gonna surprise you.
It's going to be a surprise.
We're playing some tunes that I don't think we've even got to play before, and
Nice.
It's fun.
Nice.
I mean, we're definitely gonna have our sound to it. And it's gonna be harder. It's
But
not
they're
gonna
gonna
be
be good
cheesy,
anyway.
but you're gonna be pleasantly surprised by the list.
I don't know.
And yeah, anybody that wants to come down is gonna have a blast. It's gonna be great.
September 7th, Max, downtown.
Block party
You're gonna
right
get
out there on the
a
street.
very versatile list. So
Yeah.
What's that?
you're
There's
gonna
something
get a
for
very
everybody.
versatile list.
All right, man. That's I was kind of wondering because there was like so much 80s material you guys could just fall back on that you've done.
We were
for
going to do
years.
that. We do. There's
That's
a
how it
couple. There's a
started,
few
I
on
believe,
there
yeah.
that we did back in the 80s, but we thought, hey man, let's just dig some other stuff out that we wanted to do back in the 80s that we didn't, and let's kind of update the list with some different 80s stuff. So that's what we did.
Well, that was one of the draws for me when Paul called me to join the band in the first place. When he gave me the list, I was like, "There's some songs there that a lot of bands aren't playing, right?"
Nice.
And it was stuff you didn't necessarily hear everywhere, and that was kind of the Undecided's thing. It's like we'd follow up Motley Crue with a Ramones song or
Yeah,
Sex Pistols,
and
and it's like, wow, that's really cool.
Right.
And
So-
if you remember, then we would throw in like an original, and then we'd
Right.
do a couple cover tunes from the 80s, and then we'd try to squeeze in another original,
Right.
Janet Jackson.
Well, and as it rolled into the 90s, it sort of became what the lineup you're talking about. But I remember like that Big Al era, there was that 4 to 5 nights a week. We're doing every Wednesday and Thursday at Big Al's, Friday and Saturday at your paying days, and then Sunday we do like Jacks Are Better at East Alton on an afternoon or whatever. You know what I mean? Because we everyone's trying to cover some debt here.
Well, we got paid $5 a gig, so we needed to.
Well, I was going to say there was dozens of dollars at stake.
literally tens of dollars.
Right.
Well, back then we were actually went in the hole about
Yeah,
70
yeah.
grand for
Yeah.
a truck and lights and equipment. We
Production
had
always
to
gets
pay the
all
bills.
Is that
on
bad?
Right,
It was like 70-year-old kids with a freaking home mortgage.
Hey Don, be careful because I believe Halpin
Yeah,
is
well-
a sponsor of this show, and we may still owe him money.
No,
Listen.
they got paid off.
Listen, here's the thing. As far as I'm concerned, you guys were paying to keep the sound spot open,
Yeah.
which was the that was the hangout back then.
We kept it open.
Right. So, well, and my brain went to that where I look around and I look at you guys, and again, memories flooding back, and that era of that 4 to 5 nights a week where it was like steady gigging, and it was still young, we weren't really hitting the road that far yet. It was a I don't even need a list. I know what's going to happen on a Thursday night. I don't even need. Oh, they just played "Wait" by White Line. I bet I know what's coming next. Smoking in the boys' room. Oh, wait a minute. Now it's time for Mike's got to sing one because Don needs a break, bro.
Right,
That's
now-
going to be your mama
Now
don't
we're
dance.
Tom's gonna do some Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I was going to say now we're going to do some
For
Pink
the next
Floyd. man.
62 hours.
Yeah, do that. But
Then it's time to throw in some Guns N' Roses.
that was one of the great things, though, having it where you had Mike, Don, and Tom that could hold down lead vocals for something.
Hold on.
Yeah,
So
Paul-
it gets better now. Damon
Yeah.
Yes.
can sing.
Oh yeah, I've heard him sing.
So
Yeah, he's good.
at times,
I have him sing to me in the shower just because it relaxes me. I pay him.
at times we have 5-part vocals going on now.
That's awesome.
It's really.
So-
It's cool.
So you've got time to learn Seven Bridges Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got time to put that.
Are we
together
gonna do
by
it?
7.
No.
I don't know. Oh, come on.
we have time.
We have time.
We're gonna do it. No.
Oh, just trying to
It
think
is
of
attainable.
I was just trying to think of a big harmony part to throw at you. I don't know. First one to come to mind.
We just rehearsed last night for a few hours. I think we're all pretty much wore out.
Nah,
We had to get up and go to work today. It ain't like back in the day.
We're to the part where we're so old. I get done with practice. I go home and ice my arm. It's like I've just pitched 9 innings. It's like, come on, guys.
We got to start taking an ibuprofen like 20 minutes beforehand.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I already do that, bro. Otherwise, the elbow and wrist get tired real quick, man.
Well, this whole new era of the Undecided is sponsored by Depends. Exactly, that's the reason.
September 7th, max timeout.
Good call.
All 80's mixer party.
Good call. Unplugged.
Got Climate, Porch Cafe, Rock Bottom, Undecided, and Destroy the Future. DJs in between.
It's going to be fun.
Brought to you by.
I actually posted something on that group, but if you were to hire all these bands to play your birthday party, a la Spicoli, it would cost you $10,000, to bring out this size show.
Yeah.
So at least 10 to 15 grand. So
and if you're putting a stage,
We're taking it on tour.
here's the cool part: the price of admission.
What is it, Tom? Free.
$0. It is free. You can buy food, you can buy drinks from Mac, but everything is free other than that.
Nice. So if you just want to show up and check out some music and decide, maybe you're like on the fence, and you're like, maybe I want to go, maybe I don't. It costs nothing to come down, and check it out. And I haven't seen the setup yet, but I'm, as a person who knows what it costs to put up a stage and put up sound and put up lights, $10,000 is a cheap ballpark of whatever's going to happen. I mean, because that's, it costs $4 or $5 just to throw some sound and decent sound and lights up anymore.
Here's the cool thing is when I announced this party, and Cammie Bieber has been working with me on this. It's amazing.
Hello out there, Cammie.
Hey, Cammie, she is a wind-up doll. You just like point her in a direction and she goes, and it's awesome. So I don't have to do work. I just have to think of stuff. But
nice.
The cool thing is, with all these bands, every one of them within less than a week of announcing this show, all of them asked to be on the bill and didn't care about money.
Nice.
It's like, I want to be part of the 80s party.
Yeah.
And it's like that's cool. It's a big love fest, man.
Well, it's more like
Woodstock.
And it's a little more like what you'd want a class. Well, I don't know about everybody, but guys like us would probably want a class reunion to be like
everybody
let's
bring
just
their
hang
sleeping
out
bags.
with everybody hang out with your friends and party, not so much just stand in the corner
unreunion.
and be like, yes,
this is the unreunion. There will be no rubber chicken. There will be no.
Oh, I'm bringing a rubber chicken for sure. Now.
There will be nobody given awards for who has the most kids or drove the farthest or has the best job or any of that.
They should have name tags.
But I'm a cowboy astronaut millionaire.
Stick your name tags so we know who we are.
I can't remember.
And we're going to do this next year in the amphitheater. That would be cool too.
that would be.
That
would be the place to do it.
Like a Woodstock, everybody in their sleeping bags, a big rock concert down the riverfront, like the good old days.
All right, so Nick and Zach, if you guys are listening,
there you go.
They're listening, trust me.
That's it.
And now, you know what? And to give those guys props.
Mad props, man. That was amazing.
So I mean, in all honesty, like my sound company, I got to be running sound down there for Earth Tones in a few weeks. And we didn't mind doing it the past few years. But after what they did, we feel very minuscule. We feel underdressed. Because for the first time...
They used the amphitheater the way that it was intended when Don's dad started drawing that up.
And here's the thing. That's
another thing that people don't realize, that the whole idea of that amphitheater came from the Undecided when my father said, we're going to build one of these. Because we used to play down there, if you go back to 1985, we did some of the early concerts down there. We play in the dirt. Flat on the ground in the dirt. And
we liked it.
And there was that little stage on a dirt hill.
Remember, then they built some mound
on top of the dirt mound.
Right.
And then a mound.
And then there was a roof over the concrete.
And then they added
I remember.
every year the
better.
Undecided played and they got bigger. And then Sherry Bond come along, and the Undecided and Sherry Bond put together the fireworks in Mississippi, and then it really blew up. And then we started, and that's how the amphitheater came along. Thanks to my father, he was great. He was great.
And it's been sort of out of the hands of for a while. Local bands could get down there, And then for a few years, it was like, you really couldn't touch that place unless you were, going through the city or whatever. They made it where it was impossible for guys like us to attain it. But I think the winds are changing. It's back to where it can be used again, and it as well it should be. And I'll say this about the guys from the Mississippi River Festival.
Amazing.
They actually, the way it's built, it has bars across the top of it that you can hang speakers or arrays or lights from. They put up hoists on either side. Still not all the way to the outside pillars.
The stage is
but
a little large.
It is insanely large.
You could put an orchestra up there.
You could put an orchestra up there, and they would have They would have plenty of room.
Up there.
Yeah, right. And you could park a semi truck, and it won't touch side to side. And so it's hard to not look minuscule on a stage that big.
Yeah.
They did great. Now I believe they had Logic. I believe is who they hired to do it. Logic is a huge company. That's great, but that's big money to attain something of that size.
Yes.
But props to them for doing it.
Well,
right.
Props to them for trying it. They went out on a big limb to pull that off.
Absolutely.
And honestly, they did probably the best job I've seen of a production at that on that stage.
Were you at the Leftover Salmon show?
I was not. I was out of town then.
That was a fantastic.
But how many years are between those two shows? And it's like,
right.
Well,
that was the one that shut it. That was the show that shut it down. Where after that, they didn't let citizens take it anymore.
I sort of jokingly say, Zach and Nick need to become just the chairman of the amphitheater at this point. It's like those guys really are doing things well, and they love music. They're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, they put it together. Like anyone who's ever put together a festival, it takes, usually you work all year to get to it. They were shooting for next year and ended up pulling one off this year in a small amount of time. And fine job, and pairing it with the boat races just made it a huge event.
Oh yeah, nice.
For Alton down there, it was packed down there. It was hot.
Yes, it was hot.
But anyway, yeah. So there you
Mike
go.
Lombardi.
Mike Lombardi, tell us again.
Mike Lombardi.
What is happening here on the September 7th? Because we haven't heard your beautiful voice enough. You're not just the eye candy of the band.
Yes.
Oh gosh. No, I'm telling you.
He's also the chest hair of the band.
It's gonna be awesome. I mean, I'm excited that we're all together again playing, and but I'm telling you what, people, if you think that we don't have it anymore, we still have it, and you're gonna have a damn good time. So come on out.
So you are a graduate of Alton High,
yes,
obviously in the 80s, and how long ago was it what's the last gig you guys played together?
Didn't we play a couple years ago out at Hopperfest?
It was the VFW, so yeah, that was probably 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
2018. Was it back that far?
And then we did another one after 18. We did the Hopperfest. What was the other one we did? We did same one.
That was it.
All we did was Hopperfest.
And then we did the 15 reunion down 300 State.
That was 30.
Oh, I meant 2015 reunion show. 2015 reunion, but that was the 30 year. And then we, I think that's the only two we've done.
15-year at Cocktails.
Nice.
Yeah, old Cocktails.
Yeah,
we did that in 98.
There you go.
And got all the original guys back together for that. And then now we're doing it again, baby. Doing it again on the 7th.
It again on the 7th of September.
Bunch of guys we're all pushing 60, and some of us are,
Some of us are pushing a little harder than others.
some are like 55 to 60.
We've all got.
Hey, and Damon's right there with us. Don't let him kid you. He's no spring chicken, but it's nice to be with the people that you grew up with, like when you were in high school. Yeah. We were teenagers. We were just punk kids. And here we are hanging out again, having practice over at the Damon's warehouse, and going in my studio for some rehearsals. And we're, it's just like we feel like we're kids again. It's cool.
Nice.
Cool. And then we got to go to bed and get up and go to work tomorrow because we all got freaking day jobs. So
come on, that's adult stuff. Let's keep.
I wish we could just go back to the 80s where we didn't have any responsibilities.
Dude, I'm still in the 80s, bro.
Got Tripwire on Saturday. The VFW?
VFW, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about any more
7
gigs,
to 11 at the VFW Saturday. So
you know, he talks about going to bed so early, but the phone blows up at like 5:55 in the morning.
Yeah.
Everybody's up at the crack of dawn, but they're in bed at 9 o'clock. I mean, that phone will start popping. I'm like, I guess I'm not the only early riser because they're all up.
Sometimes it pops at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's a good reason to.
That's when we used to go to bed. Now I get up and go haul fuel. And I'm like, what? My life is flipped around, man.
Yeah, about the time you got off at Pops at 5:30 and quit playing.
Yes.
That's about the time we get up now.
used to go to bed at 5:30 in the morning now.
Well, 5:30 was the ending date.
I got lost.
He waved it off. He's like, nah.
You know, 5:30 was the ending time. You still had to tear down.
We got home,
and
10
get
o'clock
home
in
at
the
7
morning
in
from
the
Pops.
You know?
Oh man, you know I've
What I was trying to say. We used to get up.
He's back on track.
5:30 in the evening, and now we get up 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
Hey, you know what? You got to go back to Bizarro World. It's time.
In the wintertime, remember, we never saw daylight.
Yeah,
it was
no
like,
daylight,
We woke up
man.
at 5 p.m. It was dark. It was like time to start the evening.
Yeah, it was those short days you didn't see the sun for 6 months, man. You feel like you'd need one of those like brims with the lights on it that they got up in Alaska just to keep you from
Hey, I have one of those. They work good for teardown, brother. Turn the light on.
Well, hey, man, September 7th, everybody get out because the Undecided, what are the other bands?
we got Climate kicking it off at Porch Cafe.
Who's in Climate?
5:15.
Tim Palin.
Here we go, the Palin. Okay.
Brother Steve.
Steve Palin. I remember. Yeah, Tim and Steve Palin. Right on.
Ex-Undecided bass player still.
I remember, man. And they lived over in Storyland.
Yes.
I remember those days. So Climate is the Palins, which those are the children of, what was their dad's name?
Tim Palin.
He had a band that played up
Backside.
Backside. Yeah, the Backside band.
Those guys are truly part of the royalty of Alton music.
Music history.
yeah.
So then who else we got other than Climate?
Porch Cafe.
Who's in that one?
Brett McCarty.
Brent.
Okay, there you go.
The Levi's.
Yeah, I know Lynn.
Len and his kids.
And his daughter. Yeah, his
Alicia
daughter's
and the kids. And I forgot their drummer's name. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And
we're going to say his name is
McAtee.
Artemis Pyle.
is
McAtee.
Right.
no
He wasn't.
Jason's the bass player. The drummer, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Artemis Pyle, we'll call him. And move on.
We're gonna call him Rico.
Rico Suave.
Uncle Rico.
Oh, no.
He could throw a football over the.
I don't need to be brought up on those charges again. All right, let's.
Then we got who else?
Who else we got?
Rock Bottom.
That's Derek Howard.
Derek Howard, yeah.
And our friend Steve Hall and Darren.
Steve Tinnen.
And Derek.
No, Brian.
Brian. He played bass for the Undecided too. Brian Tennant.
All the undecided bass players are going to be there this evening.
All the undecided bass players are going to be there on the 7th, except for Matt Williams.
I was going to say Matt Williamson.
Matt's down in Mississippi. We talk often.
You know, we should work up a cover of Big Bottom by Spinal Tap.
Just
all those bass players.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, man.
What's that band that's going on at 8:30?
Undecided.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
They should get a name.
Ready for
and then the Undecided, again, royalty. And what was the last band again?
Destroy the future.
Destroy the future.
Who's in that one from?
Jay Davidson.
Jay Davidson. All right, and that's they're going to close the night out, right? Mm-hmm. There you go, man.
Destroy it.
And DJs between each band to fill the teardown setup time.
And they're one of the cool things that I've been working with the DJs, and they're planning to kind of bridge each band's sets.
Nice. Beautiful.
So it's going to be a really nice transition, and there will be music going the entire time while the bands are setting up and tearing down and stuff.
So everybody out there, remember, September 7th, it is free to go down and check out all this music. There's going to be food and drink available through Max right there. It's going to be out in front of Max, and so there's no reason to not go down there. If you were in high school at Alton in the 80s, you're silly if you don't go down there.
Oh, yeah.
And if you just like 80s music, you're silly if you don't go down there.
Or if you're a
You're
child,
all just a bunch of silly billies.
Yeah, come on down.
Yeah.
If you went to Southwestern in the 80s.
I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of Southwestern people, Jerseyville people. You know, there's going to be people from Edwardsville, Wood River, Roxana. They're coming. There's some people mentioned they're flying in from other states. They've got their plane tickets already. They're coming in for this show and this reunion of the 80s or whatever you want to call it, mixer.
There you go.
And yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be excellent.
So everybody's welcome. Come on down. September 7th, right in front of Max Time Out. Thanks to Mr. Tom Pullen, Mr. Don Sandage, Mr. Paul Steinbrook, Damon Whitman, and my good buddy Mike Lombardi.
Thank you.
All right,
This
man,
weekend, check out Tripwire.
Yes.
Tripwire.
And
Well,
gentlemen,
Paul and Damon.
gentlemen, thank you guys.
Tripwire.
Scrap, Dennis, man, thank you for what you guys do here. You guys are a great resource to the community, and I really appreciate it.
Which
They're
reminds me-
legends, baby.
There's a huge music community. We didn't get to the gigs. These are the gigs on our side
Right,
of the
and
river.
then I got
Thursday
one
to
I
Saturday.
got to mention
Go ahead.
before we go, and it's a benefit for Kirby Dixon, who's a brain cancer patient. And this is what bands do.
Yeah.
And this is why
Absolutely.
bands are important, because anytime somebody needs some money raised, the bands always step up. They're going to have Ricky John Acoustic Duo and the Backyard Blues Band playing from noon to 5 at the VFW in Wood River on Saturday, raising money for a cancer patient. So
There you go.
Very good.
that's what bands do.
Always sad to hear about it, but again, it's something that every band I know has done benefit after benefit because that's what you do.
We did how many over the years, Tom?
All of them.
It's a huge community. We have tons of musicians in this little river town, more than they got on the other side of the river.
We got
I
like
do believe,
7
so.
pages worth of gigs going through Sunday.
We will
man.
see you guys on September 7th.
Absolutely.
We're heading out.
Yep.
We got to go home and have dinner and go to bed and go to work tomorrow.
All right, man. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to the Undecided for coming down. Thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks to Halpin Music for sponsoring
We
the
didn't
show.
even mention Matt Van Voorhis yet.
Thanks to Matt Van Voorhis.
His buddy Matt Tall's playing on Friday.
Yeah,
the Bloody
there-
Bucket
at
Saloon.
the Bloody Bucket Saloon. There you go. So yeah, thanks to Matt Van Voorhis for selling me some good insurance at Macias Insurance and being dead sexy, I tell you. Yeah, thanks to all you guys for listening. Everybody, get out and support local music and art.